My sister, 18, is starting college this fall. She doesn't have a car but will need one because she'll commute to school while living at home. At the beginning of the year, I, 27 male, told her I'd help her pay for a car as a graduation gift. I'd pay for the first $5,000 of her monthly payments. She has an almost full-ride scholarship and lives at home, so this will probably be her only recurring bill outside school fees and supplies. I did this so that when she started working, she could build up as much of a savings net as possible if something came up. My parents, sister and I initially agreed on a max of $25,000 to $30,000. This car isn't meant to last her a decade. She's never owned a car, this is her baby's first car. It's supposed to be an affordable used car for a college kid to get around in. It should last her for college and then she can figure out what to do from there. Well, I was lied to because she and my parents went out and bought a brand new Jeep yesterday. I'm livid my parents co-signed for her to get this. Not only did they buy a $65,000 brand new car, but they financed a $10,000 down payment at an even higher APR for some reason. For some insight, my parents cannot afford this car themselves and they can't even afford the new payments on the loan they got for the $10,000. There's a reason I'm the one helping out with the payments on this, not them. My sister doesn't even have a job yet, which was supposed to be step one before we got her the car. I'm livid. The $5,000 I had set aside for her won't last the summer if we put it towards the car and loan payments. The whole reason I did this is now basically moot because she'll have to cover the costs while in school. My parents have good credit but have zero cash at the end of each month, so once my $5,000 runs dry, the car will be repoed for non-payment in the next year or so. What boils my blood even more is they know I'm livid but don't care. Mom went on a whole hour about how sister's eyes lit up at the sight of the car and you wouldn't have said no either if you were there. We talked about this for months. My sister and parents know 100% that she will not be able to afford this car, but they don't care now. I'm considering backing out. I'll tell them to return the car and we return to the original plan, or I'll just invest the $5,000 in a 5-year bond for my sister. I want some opinions on this plan. Edit, quick clarification, my gift to her was a total of $5,000 to be used for monthly payments. The way I worded it was weird, I think, originally. I did not promise to help with the down payment or anything else fee-related. She had savings to cover that. I was going to pay the first $5,000 of monthly payments after that. Regarding the comments about the original car purchase price we decided on, $25,000 to $30,000, being very high, I agree. That's pretty high for an unemployed college kid. That was meant to be an absolute max that you need to think very carefully about, total fees included. I encouraged them to go for $10,000 to $15,000 but was talked up to $25,000 to $30,000 max. Not the idiot, they all need to learn a lesson the hard way. It seems as though everybody just assumed you would pitch in and help out once she starts drowning in debt. They will guilt you too. Tell them to take the Jeep back or figure it out themselves. I would expect this type of decision from an 18-year-old, but not from parents, especially when they can't make the payment themselves. If you let this ride, you'll end up paying for the Jeep out of guilt. When the day comes that nobody can pay for it, and it will, then they will start to guilt trip you. This was an incredibly crappy thing to do to you. I don't know how they can back out of the purchase. Car companies do their best not to make it possible to back out of a deal. You need to find out if the deal is already done. If it's possible to get out of the deal. A Jeep? Not even a car with known excellent track record in terms of repairs, etc. And how much is the monthly yearly insurance on this Jeep? Jesus, what a mess. Yeah, what in the world? I'm well off and I wouldn't think about dishing out that much on a car, let alone your first freaking car when you don't work. That payment must be what, $800, $1,000? Your sister is living in cuckoo land and your parents also have no brains for the looks of it. I would not give her the $5,000 in payments. Have her return that crap. She will statistically crash it anyway. Hope she at least got gap insurance. Update. I also just got confirmation that the deal was finalized yesterday. There's no returning the Jeep. I was mistaken about how used versus new cars are treated with cool-down period laws. She and my parents are screwed. Thanks for the advice so far. I'm going to think this over tonight and figure out how much of this circus I want to be a part of. My 27 female boyfriend, 36 of a year, was married in his early 20s and has 2 kids with his ex. He has 3 family pictures in his house that have her in the pictures. In one, it's her with the kids in the middle of the 2 of them. In another, it's him with the kids and her off to the right, sort of in the background. In the third, it was him and her together, along with the 2 kids and Mickey Mouse. Disney. She's been awful to me and I hate seeing her face. I've asked him to take the pictures down several times, but he says they're special memories with the kids. Well, yesterday I had enough. I used a scanning app on my phone to scan the photos, then paid someone on Fiverr to remove her from the photos. All 3 of the photos look professionally done. They're the same photos, just without her. I then went to Walmart and had them print new pictures the same size. I put them in the frames. I put the originals in a desk drawer. When my boyfriend came home, I asked him if he noticed anything different. He didn't, which is what I suspected. The photos look great now, and we still have him and his kids. I pointed at one of the pictures. He got livid, telling me I was being a jealous Nancy. I admit that I laughed because what is a jealous Nancy? Well, the laughing really set him off. He asked for the originals back and said he was going to put them back up. He then gave me an ultimatum to either accept his past relationship or move on. I said, I guess you don't want to be with the jealous Nancy. And he said no. I laughed again and he asked me to leave. I haven't heard from him since, but I expect him to get over it. Really, this woman has been terrible to me. I'm not going to get started on it, but she's been cruel to me to the point of him breaking contact with her except by text to talk about the kids. I have every right to not want to see her face. One of the pictures is in his bedroom even. Maybe I should just get over it. I felt like I was doing him a favour, because at least I didn't just cut her out, which was my original plan. Am I the idiot? Edit, much to the ex's chagrin, I have a great relationship with his children. I was not the other woman in the relationship. They were divorced long before I met him. There was infidelity in their relationship. She cheated with 2 men that we know of. That's why they divorced. I laughed again and he asked me to leave. I'm dead. OP is so clueless. Yep, done and dusted. OP, he's over it. It sounds like he realised he's not dealing with a fellow grown-up. Your lack of self-awareness about any of it proves his point. You are the idiot. That is actually unhinged. Get some help, girl. The fact that she openly admits to considering cutting up his family pictures is utterly crazy pants. And the fact that she thinks she was somehow doing him a favour by only erasing his ex-wife from their family pictures, so much horrifying yikes. I know OP is relatively young, but 27 is still way too old to think that any of this behaviour is anything short of irrational and deeply problematic. She needs therapy, and not to be anywhere near vulnerable children, frankly, if these are her instincts. Also, I love the, really this woman has been terrible to me, I'm not going to get started on it, but she has been cruel to me. In a nice long post that details all of the steps of scanning the pictures, photoshopping his ex out, going to Walmart to print them, and putting them in the frames, she can't even give one example of something horrible this woman has done to her. And did she ever consider maybe the children like having the pictures of their mom and those memories in the home when they visit dad? LOL. Other people have feelings too, OP. My husband has a habit of never telling me when he's expecting guests. To be blunt, I'm tired of it. We have an infant and there have been at least 15 occasions now when he's invited his mother or sister over and just not told me, starting from 4 days postpartum. They both live 3 hours away. Well, my mother-in-law showed up here on Saturday and I just laid down with our daughters, taken out maybe 20 minutes prior. Like I literally just fell asleep, with my breast out because I breastfeed, when my mother-in-law and husband walked into the bedroom. I wake up to my husband pulling my shirt back into a decent position and him saying, "Hey, Mum's here to see us." I say, "Well, I just got the baby down for a nap, so we aren't available." He kind of whispers to me and says, "Babe, she just travelled 3 hours to see us. You can take a nap after she leaves." I've had the same repeated conversation with this man about my thoughts on guests when I was not informed beforehand, and due to this, I got incredibly angry and told him to get out of the room now. My mother-in-law says something to the effect of, "Come on, up you go, I didn't travel down here for nothing," and starts pulling the blanket off me. So I snapped and said, "Yes, you did travel down here for nothing because my daughter and I will not get out of bed for an unannounced guest. Get out now." My husband just looked embarrassed and told his mom, "Let's go," and pulled her out of the room as she complained about respect. I heard the front door slam. I went back to sleep. I woke up an hour and a half later and my husband was sitting at the kitchen island with an angry look. As soon as he saw me, he unleashed, said that he couldn't believe I would embarrass him like that and that it wasn't like it would have killed me to get my butt out of bed for 30 minutes so his mother could see me and the baby. I once again told him that I'm not open to guests unless he loops me in. I'm done not being told what's happening and feeling like I'm in the dark in my own home. Now he swears up and down that he did tell me when I know for an absolute fact that he did not. He's trying to play the "she travelled 3 hours for nothing" card, but I truly don't care. I was tired and I needed sleep. Visiting with an unannounced, to me, guest was not on my priority list. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Not only have you told him to inform you of guests coming, but he also brought his mother into your bedroom to wake you up. For me, that's crossing the line and invading your personal space even more. What baffles me is that after he knows his mother is headed to your home, he literally has 3 hours to inform you that she's on her way. Holy smokes. Right, what was he doing for 3 hours before she came? Why does the OP have to entertain his mother too? Why didn't your husband and his mother hang out until you and the baby were done napping? If she drove 3 hours, I'd assume she stuck around for a bit and could wait. He's a crappy dude who doesn't take his wife's feelings, wishes or boundaries into consideration. He knew if he told her about this, he'd get in trouble for not respecting her, so instead he waited until she could no longer protest. I imagine the red flags have been waving in this relationship for a very long time. Yeah, it's almost like the son is conditioned to his mom's forced invasiveness. Like she hasn't only gotten him to accept it, she's gotten him to enforce it on her behalf. Concerning. OP, maybe your mother-in-law will coordinate with you in future if she plans on making a 3-hour trip to see the baby. And if she can't figure out how to text someone at this point, she may need to go into hospice for seniors for her own safety. It's easy and even the cheapest phones do it. My mom, 49, and I, a teen female, are in therapy together. This is something we probably should have done 6 or 7 years ago, but my mom had a fantasy of what it would be like and believed it would be that way automatically. The background: I lost my dad when I was 7. My parents were happily married. Mom and Dad had been together since they were teenagers, so my mom was never single. A year after Dad died, Mom threw herself back into the dating world where she met her now husband, Sean. I remember her sitting me down to say she was dating, and she admitted to me then that she had wanted to date a lot sooner and didn't because of me. But she hated being alone and wouldn't stay that way any longer. When my mom met Sean, she really fell for him fast and they got married when I was a tween. I'd only known Sean for about 4 months when they got married. My mom was really happy. I was less happy. Sean's an alright guy and I know he loves my mom, and I know he would love for me to accept him as a real parent and not just as the dude my mom married or the unwanted step-parent, his words. But I don't want a father-daughter relationship with him, or anyone who isn't Dad. My mom has been so over the top about it. She wanted me to let Sean say vows to me during their wedding, wanted me to hold his hand in photos for the wedding, and was annoyed when those things didn't happen. Outside of the wedding, she wanted me to take him to my and Dad's spot, which was just for us. She wanted me to invite him to my hockey practice's family day because Dad went the first 3 years and she pesters me every year about it. She bought Father's Day cards with Dad on them before they had kids together and got mad when I'd had a step. She got extra mad when I bought my own card that said step on it after they had kids together. So after years of us not getting along, Mom decided 2 months ago we needed therapy. She said I needed to accept that she had remarried and find a way to embrace all the changes because I was leaving myself behind and she was tired of it. Then last week, I finally decided to talk a bit more, and I told Mom and the therapist that I might still need to accept Mom's remarried status, but she needs to accept that things aren't going to be the same as when Dad was alive. I told her we might have a step-family now, but it's never going to function the same as our family before. I told her I would never be Sean's daughter, and Sean would never be my dad. I told her she would not see Sean giving me away someday. My relationship with him will always look different than mine with Dad would have, and I said I felt like she'd never worked on accepting that at all. The therapist felt all this was valid, but my mom was angry and accused me of dismissing the fact that step-families can be just as wonderful as nuclear bio-families. She also said I'm the sole reason things won't be the same. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It sounds pretty unrealistic, and it seems like your mom was living in a fantasy world to expect you to instantly view the new husband as a father figure. I'm glad she's finally seen that therapy is needed, but she needs to listen to you. Her approach to pushing you all these years and dismissing your feelings is one of the main factors why this family vision of hers isn't working, not you. Has she never thought that if she'd backed off and supported you to have whatever relationship you wanted with him, it might have naturally grown? You can build a good relationship with a step-parent over time without ever having to call them dad or having to treat them like that. Sounds like she wants to live in a Hallmark movie. Sorry, that really sucks. My daughter-in-law, 29, does contemporary art. I don't know how to explain it. It's more abstract than anything, and I suggest a Google. I don't like the art style, but that's my own opinion on it. Like one piece with just colours on a canvas, and it has a deep meaning. I don't get it. She submitted some stuff to the local art show and got in. So this Friday it's supposed to happen and the whole family was invited. The tickets to get in are $30. Personally, I would rather spend that money on other things. Not to mention that I don't like the art style, so it would be a full day of BSing about what I like about the art. It sounds miserable, so I declined, saying I had another event. She gave me a call to reconsider, but my response was no and I had plans. That's when she told me I had to go. I reiterate what I said before. She started to argue with me about not going. I kept saying I had plans and she kept accusing me of not liking her art. After the third time she accused me of that, I snapped and told her yes, I don't like her art. I think it's a waste of money to go. She called me an idiot and hung up. I'm going to go with everyone's the idiot here. She should have just accepted your no because you could have actually had plans for all she knew, but your response was mean. She's part of your family now, and spending $30 to show support at her art show shouldn't be such a difficulty for you, or something you call a waste of money to her face. Is your relationship with your daughter-in-law good otherwise? This seems like an incredibly easy way to show support to someone in your family, and calling it a waste of money is crappy. Agree, everyone's the idiot here. Parents don't enjoy sitting through elementary school performances or sports where the kids pick daisies in the field instead of doing what they're supposed to, or sit through 4-hour college graduation ceremonies when we only need to be there for 5 minutes. But we go to support family. It wouldn't have killed you to suck it up for one day to make your child and daughter-in-law happy. There's a huge difference between going to see your own 8-year-old concert you don't want to go to and paying to see a grown adult's work that's not your actual child. OP, not the idiot. It doesn't make you an idiot to not want to waste money on being miserable or having a fake day. You attempted several times to just get her to stop, and she didn't stop until she got the reaction she was looking for from you.